Hi Libra, this is your reading for December 2018. Thanks for joining. Please set aside anything that you're doing now so you're not multitasking, and all your attention is here with me in the reading. Focus on your breath. Come into a calm, centered posture. Relax your shoulders. Take a few deep breaths, and each time you exhale, imagine yourself releasing any anxiety or tension that you might be feeling. While I shuffle, take a moment to check in with your higher self and your guides. Ask them to connect with me, to my higher self, and to my guides so that we can create a feedback loop to have really clear and relevant messages come through that are specifically tailored for you. Okay. So, Libra, let's have a look here. There's quite a few major arcana cards in the reading for you. Let's start with this crowning card here. You have death as the crowning card for this reading. So I feel like I think a lot of you are aware that you're in a time where you're kind of making moves, making transitions. I think that the death card being here in the crowning position of your reading is kind of an indicator that you've been in a state of transition for some time, and I feel like your awareness of the need to actually completely close out a cycle is here now. And I think you are wanting to and needing to close out 2018 with a closure on some things, on some issues, and making a kind of determined, concerted effort to move into 2019 with a really empowered feeling of independence, decisiveness, clarity, and strength, confidence, to start the next year with a really powerful beginning. So as much as you know this, because the crowning card is the card that speaks about what's in your conscious mind, about what you do already know, I feel that even though you know that this is what's happening, there's still part of you that is unconsciously holding on. There's a large part of your subconscious mind is still holding on to the past. I think a lot of you are still sort of trying to overcome or seeking to overcome loss from the past. For some of you, you may actually be working with this energy in a conscious way, but I feel like for a lot of you, you're still holding on to the past. You're still mourning for a loss. You haven't overcome the pain of disappointment, the feeling of opportunities kind of passing you by, or a missed opportunity. But in the way I'm seeing this here for some of you is that you feel like maybe an opportunity has been lost, but perhaps you haven't come to accept yet that maybe that opportunity wasn't for you, or rather than playing this kind of passive role of being sort of a victim in some ways of circumstance, you're kind of letting yourself have an idea that you have been betrayed by others, or that you've been somehow a victim of other people's behavior, and you're still not yet taking responsibility for the circumstances as they've played out. So in the foundation of the reading, you have this Page of Wands in reverse, and this is saying to me that there's still some emotional immaturity that you're kind of allowing yourself to be mentally carried away with. Like, you're allowing yourself to have certain ideas and feelings that are not really founded in the truth. They are founded in a type of immature delusion and dishonesty, that you're not actually owning the reality of the situation that you're in right now. And there's part of you that's still kind of playing a bit of a victim in some situations. This may not be true for all of you, but I think some of you are still not accepting and owning the responsibility of the decisions that you made and the behaviors that you've taken that have brought you to the situation that you're in now. Some of you are actually feeling very empowered at this time, and that you are moving forward with clarity and decisiveness and discernment. With this sort of having put yourself through this stage of retreat and reclusion in order to kind of come to this place of, you know, contentedness and happiness and a sense of fulfillment, having put in the work and put in the effort to uncover the truth, to kind of detox yourself from emotional stagnancy, to be able to come to this place. Some of you have put in the work. Others of you are still in this place where there is some unwillingness to accept responsibility. Let's talk about some of these cards, other cards here at the foundation. So the Page of Wands is your unconscious mind. These other 4 cards around here speak about you and your energy as you are now, and the environment that you're in and the people that are around you. So 2 of Cups reversed with the Knight of Wands, and then the 3 of Cups with the Hierophant. Both of these quadrants are saying similar things to me, in that there's part of you that is being a little bit perhaps frivolous. Some of you may be promiscuous at this time. Some of you may be having extramarital affairs, or are just like, if you're single, you might just be playing the field a little bit and not having the energy or the willingness at the moment to commit to something. That's what I'm getting from this Hierophant reversed. If you are in a relationship, either you're discontented a little bit in that situation, or you're looking for something that's a bit more evolved and developed and mature. Different things going on there. For some of you, you may have been if you're processing a breakup, if you've come out of a breakup and perhaps you've been with someone who was very fiery and very creative and very entrepreneurial or whatever, and you're still kind of dealing with the way that feels, you know, to have coming out of it. I think there's still some, like, as I said, mourning over a loss, and perhaps for some of you have still not coming into a total acceptance or like a grounded understanding of those events. You might still be playing out some, as I said, immaturity and unwillingness to be committed. Maybe you're just playing the field a little bit right now and you're kind of enjoying yourself. I feel for some of you, you might be trying to soothe some of your discomfort and your emotions by, you know, like kind of just looking for sexual contact that's light and easygoing and uncommitted. No judgment. I'm just saying what I see here. But just know that, like, you're not going to cure your heartache by being a slut. You might feel good for a little while, you might enjoy yourself, but it's not the cure. It's not the solution to really dealing with your emotional pain and discomfort in an adult way. You have a lot more work to do in the sense of what I see here with these 2 cards here in the outcome position. You have the Strength and the High Priestess in reverse, with this Death card here as the crowning card. So with these 3 cards here, and even this Hanged Man at the center of the reading, which is your crossing card, this kind of speaks about what your challenge is and what your obstacle is. What I feel is here is that there's a lot to do in the area of finding the humility to be honest, to overcome victimhood, and to use the power of the feminine, the energy of witnessing and observing in a metaphysical way. It's the High Priestess in reverse. To actually really receive the gems, receive the medicine or the healing of your experiences until now, to help you understand what it is that you need to learn about yourself that is seeking to be revealed and uncovered and transmuted, alchemized. Okay. So there, as I said, the Hangman here is your crossing cards is saying to me that there's still some part of you that hasn't necessarily fully accepted the experiences of maybe the whole of the last year. There's part of you that's still holding on, that is not willing to kind of surrender and accept the course of events as they have played out. And you're still kind of mourning for a loss or holding on to your perceived sense of being a victim in a certain situation. But there is a feeling of an urgent need to overcome that kind of unwillingness to evolve, because your position right now, as I just described it there, is actually preventing you from moving forward. That's why you have this Ten of Swords here in reverse, I feel. It doesn't seem like you're actually able to kind of move into the next part of your life and start something fresh from a place of, like, you know, the Fool card is not here, for example. Like, that would be the card I would want to see here in this situation to let me know that you have actually done all the work that's needed to be done in order to process all the emotions and to understand the course of events as they have happened and how they've unfolded, to actually walk away from, you know, these times with a fresh sense of renewed trust and a renewed feeling of like joyful enjoyment for life, trust in life, and innocence that comes from being willing to just keep going and try again, having come through something difficult and understood the lessons that were there without holding on to like resentment or pain or strife or all those other types of emotions. You can leave all that stuff behind and go forward with an open-hearted kind of face to the sky trustingness. But that as I said, I don't see that kind of energy here. I feel that there is this energy here where there needs to be a lot more, and it's not about time. This is just about, in an instant, you can kind of shift out of this by just being willing to accept the truth of your experiences and overcome your internal unconscious desire to have you want to be attached to a certain type of, you know, egotistical victim kind of mentality where you're being a little bit immature and unwilling to be responsible for your part in the story that played out. Let's have a look at the bottom of the deck. Temperance, Three of Swords, King of Wands, Seven of Wands. So the Temperance in the Three of Swords is clearly speaking to the need to forgive and resolve. Forgiveness and letting go. Both of these cards are about the heart space. Look at the character in the Temperance card with the triangle over the heart. This card is 100% about the release that can happen, or the resolve that can happen when you forgive, when you let go, when you move into a heart-centered space of, you know, trusting, accepting. And the Three of Swords is as well. It's it looks kind of gruesome and painful, like heartache, but it's actually, this is from the past. What this card offers is the potential to overcome that pain by forgiveness. So it's not like the pain is now, but the pain might be now because you're still holding on to it. You're still feeling like you're the one that's been wronged. But it's just about trusting life and accepting that, you know, like everything that you've been through is just like education, experience, growing, learning. Don't take it personal. And then King of Wands here with the Seven of Wands. Again, there's a lot of these Wands cards, and now we have all four of the Wands court cards here in the reading now. And there's a Strength card as well, so it's another fire energy card here in the reading. I do feel that there is a lot here about, again, that the fire element, and how it may be that you are misusing it a little bit in your in your way here. Could be, I feel like the Ten of Wands here in reverse could be representing you, just as it is in this quadrant here, the Knight of Wands in this quadrant here. I do feel that it's just simply speaking to a kind of need to just grow up a little bit and overcome this immaturity that you might be embodying with, like, just being unable to accept and acknowledge your responsibility. I feel like you're just being, you may have felt like you've been under so much attack and you're on the back foot and you feel like you need to defend your territory, but that's actually, I don't feel like that's the correct approach in this situation. I feel like this is more about just listening and accepting and being tolerant and being understanding, being forgiving, in able to move forward in this like transition of wanting to change and evolve and move on from the past. There needs to be this kind of, like, drop your guard, drop your attitude, drop your defensiveness, come into a more forgiving space, let things be understanding, be more tolerant, be more accepting, and be in a more of a space of ownership of the way you feel and the way you behave, the way you deal with other people. As I said, for some of you, I feel like some of you have already done this work, or you've gone within and you've processed a lot. You've done your like your detox and your cleanse and your release, and you've created more space for light within you. But for others of you, this is the work that is yet to be done, because this is the position of hopes and fears. So some of you have already been focused on this work, focused on yourself, focused on, bringing awareness back to you and your well-being, your contentedness, your light, your love. But others of you have been projecting this outward, and that's what I feel like it is with a lot of these fire cards, these wands cards in reverse. And even this Hangman as the crossing card and the Five of Cups reversed. Some of you have been projecting this energy outward. And there needs to be more of a willingness to turn within, to turn all of your attention within and see your responsibility, see your part in it, in order to really reclaim truth and integrity. I feel that that's it for your reading, Libra, for the general reading. I'll take the Voyager deck now and shuffle to give your higher octave reading. The higher octave reading is designed to provide a little bit more insight into the spiritual and karmic lessons that are unfolding, and hopefully provide insight and clarity and guidance on how best to move forward, to rise up to meet the lessons that are on the table, to make the most of the opportunity that we're being given to grow and to evolve. So while I shuffle, please do take a moment again to just bring your awareness back to your breath, back to your center, and blast the deck with your energy so that I can get really clear and specific messages for you. 3 of Cups reversed, crossed by the 7 of Crystals. 5 of Crystals reversed, Ace of Cups. The Tower. Time Space in reverse. Time Space refers to the Judgment from the Rider-Waite deck. In this spread right now, it's in the reverse position. Emperor reversed. Man of Worlds reversed. 10 of Cups reversed. 5 of Worlds reversed. Child of Cups reversed. Balance, which is the Justice card from the Rider-Waite deck, which is your own card actually. 8 of Wands reversed. And the Hanged Man again, this time in the upright position here. Okay, bottom of the deck is Woman of Crystals. Two 5s in the reading, both reversed. You had 5 in the center of the reading in the previous spread, also reversed. So I do feel that is kind of giving actually quite an optimistic feeling towards you actually turning the corner and actually being kind of closer to actually making the transition that you need to make here to kind of move on from the past. The Five of Crystals and the Five of Worlds. In this deck, it's called Setback and Negativity. You know, the fives are the cards of the tarot where, you know, we speak often about strife and difficulty and challenge and loss and, you know, disappointment. Being that they're in reverse here, I feel that the point of the fives is that they are all those emotions are simply symptoms of what the fives actually represent, which is that you're at the threshold of a change. So I feel that being that these cards are, the fives are here in reverse, it kind of is saying to me that you are getting to the point where you are ready to make that transition from being focused on your losses and on your disappointments, to actually shift out of that and start to become a little bit more in your optimism, in your, you know, forward thinking rather than backward thinking. For a lot of you, you've been focused so much on the past, on the events that happened, that it's kind of maybe felt like it's prevented you from moving forward, because so much of your psyche is, you know, tied up in memories and processing events and emotions from the past that you haven't been able to actually get clear in the present enough for you to actually make a step forward in a way that feels clear and uninhibited and unrestricted by events from the past, which may still feel like they're holding you in a certain way. So let's have a look here at the central axis of the reading, coming from past to now. This axis here, having the Tower here, and then the Three of Cups in the middle, crossed by the Seven of Crystals, and then the Judgment card in reverse. So how I'm seeing this is that there perhaps was an event in your past, recent past, sometime during this year even, that was sudden, unexpected, dramatic, and life-changing. You didn't see it coming. And it generated a massive shift for you, that held the potential to be transformative. But what it says here with the Judgment card being in reverse and the Three of Cups in reverse crossed by the Seven of Crystals here, what this says to me is that you haven't yet actually been able to really take the energy of that event, of that situation, and turn it into something that is beneficial to you. You haven't had that light bulb moment yet. The carpet was pulled out from under you, but you haven't understood yet what lessons are there for you, or what gems were there for you in that situation. You're still kind of not in clarity yet, I feel. But you're getting close, I think. But that can happen as soon as you really, as I said earlier, that wake up moment or that clarity can come as soon as you're willing to own some responsibility. Now, other cards here, you have at the foundation the Ace of Cups. So, you know, having all the five energy of like strife and disappointment and loss, resting on the foundation of this Ace of Cups, it's saying to me that in your unconscious mind, in your spirit, on a soul level, you want that fresh beginning. You want to open up to unconditional love. You want to embody forgiveness and trust and, you know, acceptance, and move into a new space, because it feels like you are ready to leave all of that behind and move on. There is just this feeling though that some other, you know, like the unconscious is kind of driving forward with that like, yes, let's do this, let's make this happen, let's go into a new phase, let's open up to unconditional love and trust and surrender again. But other cards around here are saying that perhaps in the physical realm you haven't quite actually grounded that into an embodied action where those events from the past actually get left behind. So there's still, what it says here, there's still some work to do with integrating, understanding, and harmonizing your energy with events from the past in such a way that helps you feel grounded and trusting again, and in a way that will allow you to kind of just be in a centered place where you're actually able to create from. And in the hopes and fears position, you have the Ten of Cups reversed with the Balance card. And as I said, the Balance card is relating to the Justice, which is it's actually your card from the Major Arcana. So what this says to me is that you really want to come into that space again of your own power, of your own centered, balanced, equanimous space. But again, I think the fear there is, or the other side of that is that there is still like this feeling of pain and disappointment to overcome. But as I said, so many of the other cards here are saying that you're really close, like that you've come through this year with. It's like it does feel like a heavy kind of emotional burden, but there is this feeling here of like you're close to actually finding that kind of childlike enthusiasm again. Just keep going, Libra. Let's have a look at the bottom of the deck. Woman of Crystals reverse, Nine of Worlds, Ace of Worlds, and Four of Crystals reverse. And there's the Priestess. I'll take her. Priestess and the Moon reverse I'll take. Okay. I feel the message of the Queen of Crystals there in reverse is that in order for you to really make this breakthrough, as I said in the previous reading, there is something here around honesty. You know, the Woman of Crystals is in the upright position. She's very honest. She's very upright. She's very truthful. Her word is her word is everything, you know. But I feel like this has more to do with, it can have something, it can speak about how you communicate to other people and the truth that you embody and how you express that to others. But I feel that this is more about your own internal space. I feel this has to do with how you remember the events that happen and how you actually speak to yourself internally about events and about other people and how you actually are. It feels like you're kind of your own enemy in this situation where you're not actually being honest with you're not being, look at this. Okay, so there's the Temperance card from the previous reading with that, you know, the heart space, that kind of triangle over the heart, and the two cups kind of, to me, representing like a balanced emotional state, open-hearted, trusting and forgiving. And then look here in this Woman of Crystals card. Look at the mudra she's holding with her hands over her heart with the crystal there. It's a similar feeling, right? But in this reading, she's in reverse. So I do feel that there is like a message here around like you needing to actually embody a more real, raw state of mind and overcome your tendency perhaps to... It's like your internal voice is sort of like trying to placate you in a certain way that is a little bit like let me find the right way to say this. It's a kind of like condescending energy of like you telling yourself. Imagine if you were a parent, and you're talking to your own child, which is you in this situation. It's almost like you're trying to placate that child with some type of like incorrect understanding of an event to try to make them feel okay about it, but actually it's not true. Does that make sense? The point I'm trying to make is that you need to be much more vigilant about the inner voice that you use, the way you communicate to yourself about everything, but in particular, whatever this event is that we're talking about, where you have this tower moment, there's a certain way that you're communicating to yourself about that event and about the aftermath of that event, which is not entirely honest. So what that means is you're unable to receive the fruits of that event. You're unable to harvest the potent magic of that situation because you're not being truthful about what actually happened. And here's the Ace of Worlds is called Success, and here you have the Four of Crystals called Logic. Four of Crystals is in reverse. I feel that this is saying that you could have that new physical beginning with the Ace of Worlds. You have the potential to have this fresh new beginning. And you have the Ace of Cups here. So you have that like uprising of unconditional love, opening up to, you know, forgiveness and like a pure love energy is the place that your spirit is wanting to come from. And that also, there is also this feeling of like the beginning of a new physical cycle. But having this Four of Crystals in reverse here is saying to me that you may not be having this physical new beginning yet, because this Four of Wands, the Four of Crystals in reverse here is kind of saying to me that from the outside, you might be trying to give people the impression that you're meditating, you're processing your situation and information, but the truth is that you're actually not. You're just sulking. You're holding on to the past in a way that is very, immature. You're not being honest with yourself about actually the truth of what happened, and in doing so, you're selling yourself short. You're missing out on this opportunity to have a really deep healing, to overcome a specific kind of there's a thread here, a very long thread that takes you way back to like a pattern of behavior or a pattern of engaging that is wanting to be resolved and released and healed so that you can be liberated from it, because there's something here about a type of dynamic which has been kind of keeping you in a cycle of specific types of relating to people, which has felt disappointing maybe time and time again. And there's this energy here of the High Priestess and the Moon. The Moon is in reverse here. I feel that there is something here about you needing to kind of really go deep into the psyche. But again, what I want to be careful here is that me sharing this kind of insight to you is not, it's not intended for you to kind of go on some long dramatic process of like expensive therapies and expensive retreats and no, just wake up. Just wake up. Just realize what it is that you've been doing. Just become aware of your own responsibility in the type of way that you relate to people that is feeling unsatisfying. Just own it. It has a lot to do with your insecurities. I think I'm going to leave it there. I don't feel like there's more for me to say here on this, Libra. Just be honest. Look at your insecurities. Look at what it is that you need to kind of purge and clear out of your field, which has been, hanging around for a long time and being in the deep recesses of the mind, causing glitches in your relationships. It's you. It's all you. Stop trying to make it anyone else. Okay, thanks for watching, Libra. That's it for your higher octave reading. That was a lot of information there. Watch it again if you have time now, and check back in a couple of weeks. As the month unfolds, you may find that different parts of the reading will become more relevant. It also might just be healthy to have a reminder in a couple of weeks' time of some of the things that you heard here. Watch your sun, moon, and ascendant, and just click on any of the readings that feel like they jump out at you. Use your intuition. Is quite possibly valuable gems for you in the other readings that have nothing to do with your natal chart. Thank you for subscribing. It's an honor and a pleasure to read for you. I hope you found that illuminating, and I look forward to seeing you in the next reading.